Welcome to Backstory Song. I'm your host, Doug Burke, and today we're here with Stephen Wells of the band Ghostowne.
Stephen Wells is the singer-songwriter leader of the band Ghostowne, which he formed in 1999. They've released 7 albums and are preparing to release their 8th album, Menace to Sobriety. They've been playing for 20 years, and their music inspires bar crowds to drink and dance. Stephen's songs celebrate hard work and sweat, a devil-may-care attitude, and another round of tequila shots. If you're seeking a honky-tonk bar band sound, Stephen and Ghostowne deliver that in spades.
This morning in a very strange land, saw a man in black with a pink Cadillac down the road, strumming a guitar and singing the blues into a old microphone. So I opened the front door and stepped outside as he approached with a sneer and a smile. Said, "Hey man, can you help me find my way home?" Raised up one of his eyebrows and said, "Hey man, let's go." Yippee-yi-hey, yippee-yi-oh, it's a long way from Graceland.
So I'm here with Stephen Wells, the founder of the band Ghostowne, and we're here to talk about a song called A Long Way from Graceland.
Correct. Basically, the song began with a dream I had. So I basically woke up and the concept was a Wizard of Oz kind of a theme. But instead of the house landing and you end up in Oz, I open the door and there's Elvis. And I step outside, as the lyric says, and then we begin to drive around and drink and do drugs with Elvis all day. So it's kind of a dreamscape, but I've thrown in some really kind of humorous and true to life lyric of certain things that actually happened to us or me. Certain lines in there that are really funny. There's a line in there about doing mustard tequila shots that actually happened camping with the band members.
I was wondering what that was. I don't think I've ever tried one.
Yeah, they're delicious. And I sold the band on the backstory on that is the bass player that just passed, Sparky Tuttle, who'd been with us for 10 years. We used to camp and fish together. And me and the drummer, Gordon, the drummer, and Sparky and me were up camping. And, we're fly fishing. We get done with the day and we're sitting around the campfire drinking tequila and beers. And I couldn't find the salt and it was dark out. And so I grabbed the mustard by mistake. I'm like, oh, that'll do. And, when you put the salt on your hand and you lick it, it was spicy mustard. I put that on there. Did the shot, and it was the most disgusting thing you could imagine. But I sold it well. I was like, "Whoa, man, that's so good!" And I was looking at the other guy. This is so good. You have to try it. No way. That's like, no, you have to try it. So I literally sold them into doing it, and they both tried it. And from then, it became a joke. And we actually sold other people in bars, like we'd been in a bar and told people, and they would go and order it and get mustard and try it because so it was this ongoing joke. So I had to throw it in a song. It was perfect for this kind of a lyric.
Has anybody decided that tastes good?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. But it's just a really funny story that I kind of threw into this because it's kind of a dreamscape song. And I thought, well, that lyric fits, that reality fits right into the, it's kind of dreamscape storyline.
And so what happens in the dreamscape?
So like I said, I show up and I, land wherever Elvis is. And then what I do is I just jump in his caddy and we drive around and we do drugs and we do tequila mustard shots and smoking carpet weed, which goes way back to another true story that I was, a friend dared me to put that line in because years ago we smoked carpet weed and I swear it was a piece of carpet. He said it was weed. But I still to this day think it was actually just a piece of fuzz carpet. And so it was kind of funny. And I said, I'm going to put that in a song one day. And this was 5-6 years ago. And so it just kind of, I'm like, oh yeah, he dared me to put that in. So the whole concept is just kind of real tongue in cheek, but real dreamscapey and kind of cartoonish in a way.
And you get a tattoo along the way?
Well, no, I put that, in
the dream?
I have an Elvis tattoo.
Oh, you do?
So I threw that in there. It's like,
You have more than one tattoo.
I have many. Yeah.
And do you have more than one artist, or is it just Elvis?
No, just Elvis.
Elvis.
He was the one that got the ball rolling as a kid. I was just really young. My parents, neither of them played music, but they enjoyed music. And so it was always in the house. In the morning, I'd wake up, my dad would be drinking coffee, reading the newspaper, and listening to music. And he listened to mainly classic rock and oldies. And so those kind of got stuck in my head as a young, child. Elvis was like, whoa. And then I saw him on TV and I'm like, he is the coolest guy I've ever seen. And still to this day, I think he's the coolest rock star ever, A lot of those artists from that era he listened to, but that one, Elvis, for some reason, just really stuck with me and got me. I got to do something like that,
So the melody of this song, I would not call an Elvis melody.
No,
it's
no.
Who inspired you? How'd you come up with the melody?
Basically, I just sat down like I do with all my songs I write, and I just sometimes I'll have a title. In this case, I kind of had a blueprint because I had the dream, so I jotted down in the morning basically what it was. It's like a Wizard of Oz, but Elvis instead of the Munchkins and all that. So I had kind of a blueprint of what I wanted to create. So I thought I just started writing, and I think I came up with that chorus first, and then I started basing I went backwards and then got the verses and kind of started putting them together, and that's where I'd start. And some of these, like the song like this, I'm literally writing it and laughing. I'm like, there's a line in there about carpet weed. Who puts that in a song? So it's kind of funny and tongue in cheek, and the melody, I just start singing it and going, oh yeah, this is, yippee-yi, and just, oh yeah, that's really catchy. That's perfect on the chorus, and then I just put the song together and then bring in the other guys and say, here's my concept. And then, we kind of tweak it a little bit.
So if your musical sort of muses aren't Elvis, are there musical inspirations from other artists on the melody here?
Maybe not. Well, there probably is, but this one is more of the storyline based off of Elvis. I wouldn't say the melody line or the song itself has anything to do with Elvis.
Right. But is there someone else, like a Tom Petty or?
No. It's just me. In most cases when I write something, I don't think of another artist. But as an artist, I listen to everything. And so, and I think that's why Ghostowne, we've been around celebrating 20 years this year, and working on our eighth record coming up, hopefully this winter, next spring at the latest. I think I listen to such a broad amount of music, it just kind of all gets in there.
Big melting pot. Not any one thing.
As a child, I grew up in Minnesota, and way up near the Canadian border, a small mining town, and so we listened to everything up there. You listen to we got into high school, you'd go to keg parties, and they were playing Tom Petty and big kind of Midwest rockers like Mellencamp and Petty
Seeger
and Springsteen and those. But at the same time, we were listening to Black Sabbath and Iron Maiden and Van Halen and those artists too, which I love. And so it's kind of a melting pot, and blues, and it just just regular rock and roll guys like Bryan Adams was really popular back then. Bands like that you would just be like, oh yeah, that's cool too. So it was not like you were stuck in one genre. I did find when I started to write music, I couldn't really write more of the heavy metal or the rock. I tried.
That wasn't your voice.
It just wasn't. Just didn't feel like it was me. Even though I love it and I listen to it and I still listen to that. It's when I started writing music, it just didn't come out that way. It came out more country, southern rock. Probably more of the Springsteen, Mellencamp, Petty influence kind of came out in my writing versus, say, Iron Maiden or AC/DC.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just, I guess they are more singer-songwriters, whereas the metal bands were more, they wrote it as a band and a lot of riffs and that, and I just wasn't that talented, I guess.
So you described this sound as American twang.
Yeah.
Which is, in my mind, something different than those other people than you've mentioned. In fact, more of a country sound.
Yeah, well,
to it. And
we do.
Upia is a country.
Yeah, and we do, and that's kind of the play on it. We have an album called American Twang, and that kind of, to me, that embodies everything that is Ghostowne. We're an American band, so we imply, but we're twangy. We play Telecasters, and I have all my songs are kind of have a country lyric theme to them. A lot of drinking songs, a lot of those kind of things. But we incorporate a little bit of blues, rock and roll, and country. And to me, it's kind of Americana, American music, but twangy. So that's kind of where I came up with that theme, and that specific song called American Twang kind of emulates that theme. Like, we're American Twang. We blues, rock, country, it's all kind of in a melting pot, and that's what you get with Ghostowne.
So you have a dream, you write the chorus, you fill out these verses, you come up with the melody, and then you go into the recording studio?
Yes.
How do you put that together? Who's involved in that?
Basically, I write the song, and then we kind of, it works differently. On this last record, we did it really different than we've done in the past. On all the previous records, we went in as a band into the studio. We rehearsed the songs. We got them worked out. We went in. We worked with Matt Weiniger. I'm not sure if you know who he is. He produced all the Ghostowne records, even this current one. He engineered them, and so we'd go to his studio and when he lived in Salt Lake. And so now that he's moved, we were like, what are we going to do? And so I talked to him, and he said, well, just get the tracks, and I'll mix it for you. And so, as you can see in this, we're sitting around, there's the drum kit, and I've got other things, and I've got all the recording gear. So I said, all right, great. So we went and we did it. Basically, I would record the vocal to an acoustic guitar and to a click track, and I would play the song in its entirety and bring the drummer in, and he would play a drum part to it. And then we'd get the bass player in, and then we'd have the guitar player come in. We had multiple guests on this record, so I had multiple guitar players, multiple bass players, multiple singers. I sang all the lead vocal, but we had a lot of guests
on this particular song.
This particular album.
But we're talking about this song.
On this particular song, it is a guest bass player. Who is? It was Johnny Lightfoot, who spent the last 10 years playing with Air Supply. And now he plays with, everybody. I mean, he kind of, his daughter was growing up, so he kind of wanted to get off the road. And so now he lives locally, and we've been friends for 20 years. And so I said, well, come over and play something, And so, hey, what are you thinking? And I told him kind of my concept on the bass line. All right, boom, and he played it. He's just extremely talented. And then the lead guitar player is Brock Peterson, who's in the band. The drummer was Gordon Gardner, who's a drummer in the band. We have two drummers, and Gordon's the one on this one. The bass player was Johnny. And then the singers, we had Walter James. He's a local singer-songwriter, phenomenal vocalist, songwriter. Good friend of mine. He came over, and they were doing the Yippee-Yi-Yays up high. And then Neil Middleton from the band Royal Bliss. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they're probably Salt Lake's largest hard rock band, and they tour all over, and we're really good friends. And so all these guys sang on multiple songs on the album, specifically on this one. So that was kind of the finishing touches. Like, I need some different voices on here to give it more texture. Instead of me just singing them, it's nice to have somebody else do it. It adds another element, I think, to the song.
So everybody lays down their independent tracks here in your home studio.
Yes.
Use SoundCloud or something like that
Studio One.
Studio One,
yep.
With the producer.
Yep. And so, well, I'm basically the producer.
Okay.
And then when we finish the tracks, then we send it off to Matt Weiniger because he's Matt Weiniger to mix it, to make it sound good. So he adds all the reverbs and delays and all the compressions and all that. I just get the basic levels, make sure the levels are good, and the song structure is where we want it. Beginnings, ends, all that, and then everybody comes in, does their part, and we ship it off, and then he spends a week or two mixing it and sends it back, and
you're released.
And we're released, yeah.
And when did you release this?
This one came out basically the end of 2017, but it was more like 2018. It was in like this right around Christmas, 2017. So I call it 2018 because after the holidays is when everybody really started hearing it.
And how's the crowd reaction?
It was good. Yeah. People loved it. They liked I got a lot of response of we've never done guest stars before. And so I got a lot of excitement about that. Oh, you got this person, you got that person, this person on this song, that person on that song. And it was a lot of fun for me. And they're all friends. So it's like, hey, having your buddies come over. Hey, come on over and play on this song. We had so many songs for this last one, and my guitar, and we're all busy. We have day jobs and families, and so not everybody had the time, and I had all these songs. So I just called the guys in the band, hey, do you mind if so-and-so comes? No, not at all. I don't have time to do 13 songs. I'll do 9. You can get, farm the other ones out. It'll be fun. So, of course, now that they have to learn them to play them live, they're like, oh, I probably, now it's a little more time. But the concept was great. I'm going to do a little bit of that on the next record coming out next year. Probably more singers on this one than actual other musicians. I just love the color, of having the harmony vocalist be a little different than me, whether that's somebody else in the band already, which we do, like you would do live, or just an actual really good singer with a good voice come in and we work out a cool harmony and do it. So,
Stephen, at the end of the song,
yeah,
which is a rock song up to this point, you introduced Yippee-Yi-Yi, which is kind of country.
It is country, and that's the reason behind it, because the song is rock. So I wanted to kind of put a country flair on it. And so I came up with the concept for Yippee-Yi-Yi. Yippee-Ki-Yay is the one, what I stole it from, but I couldn't do Yippee-Ki-Yay, so I wanted to do Yippee-Yi-Yay. And from the Die Hard movie, when he does Yippee-Ki-Yay, motherfucker. So I just kind of shortened it down, thought, well, that's great, that's perfect, So, and then once again, it's just a fun song, so I wanted to be really lighthearted and have fun in the concept, so I was just kind of looking for different themes, and it worked out perfectly, because that's the big background vocals on that Yippee-Yi-Yay. And
so your song is inspired by a Bruce Willis character.
Bruce Willis versus Elvis, and and different true to life things I've thrown in.
Down payment blues, old worn out boots. I'm just about losing my mind. My baby done left me, standing here lonely. Said she needs a wealthy guy. I got too much stress, my job is paying less. Just can't pay all of my bills. So I went to the doctor, he prescribed 2 bottles of tequila dressed in chill.
So we're here to talk about Funny Money.
Yes.
Tell us the backstory on Funny Money.
It's pretty simple, traditional kind of country theme, but the evils of money. Just a play on words, funny money. And it's all about how money's not funny. How it can be, just kind of ruin your life if you don't have enough. And I've never had a lot, but I imagine on the other spectrum it could too as well. So it's just kind of about not having money, having to pawn your guitar.
Did you ever have to pawn your guitar?
Oh, yeah. I couldn't even tell you how many times through my life I've done that. Maybe in the hundreds. I've lost guitars and pawned because if you don't pay for them, you lose them. The thing, there's lines in there about, you get back to your house, your apartment, and try the key and it doesn't work, you've been evicted, and it's like, isn't money funny,
You've had that happen to you?
Yeah, I have.
What's that feel like?
Oh, it's a horrible feeling, I would say I'd rather have that than have to pawn a guitar again. I'm kind of at a spot now, I don't have to worry about that, but yeah, it's just basically about the evils of money, I think in the first verse I talk about a woman leaving you because you don't have enough money, And so the song is kind of sung to her like, ain't money funny, but honey, I don't have much, Because that's kind of a stereotype, like, oh, he's got money, that's how he keeps the woman, So I kind of threw that in because it was a good line, but,
You talk about pawning a Gibson guitar. Is that you play a lot of different types of guitars.
I do, yeah.
Why the Gibson in the song? Is that?
Well, I have 2 of them. My 2 main acoustic guitars are Gibsons. The one's right here, the other one.
So that's like your biggest treasure? Is
Yeah,
is it more
yeah.
meaning to the Gibson than the Telecaster?
Well,
Or-
and it just adds color to the lyric,
Uh-huh.
to specify, instead of saying, I pawn my guitar, pawn my Gibson. And most people, even if you don't play music, you know what a Gibson guitar is.
Yeah.
So it isn't too obscure of a reference, but it kind of colors it like, oh man, he pawned a Gibson. That's not a cheap guitar, so.
I haven't been to a doctor who prescribed me tequila,
Yeah.
and it's two different ways. Explain that lyric to me.
Oh, we got cash in the picture here. So it's just a play on words. So you're kind of depressed. You don't have a lot of money. So you go to the doctor. You're like, and he writes me a prescription for two bottles of tequila dressed and chilled, which is the way it's served. You can have it naked, which is just straight up, just right out of the bottle. Or you can have it chilled and dressed, which is salt and lime on it. So just to add more color to the lyric.
And is the doctor a real doctor or
No,
a friend
it's
that's a bartender?
Just a play on words, yeah. Basically, it's just but the friend or the bartender, yeah. So, but it's just a fun song, looking at how how money just kind of rules everything. But then you throw in little lighthearted lines like that, So basically, money's got me down. I'm gonna go get me a bottle of tequila, and everything will be all right,
So the melody, you have these wonderful guitar fills.
Yes.
Tell me how you come up with.
Well, those, that's actually a really good story. The guitar player on this song was one of the guest guitar players we had in town. His name is Jordan Matthew Young, and he now lives in Austin. But he's from Salt Lake originally, and he's really good friends with my current guitar player, Brock Peterson. So, and he's my friend as well, but Brock knows him better. And so I called him up and I said, hey, I've got this real because he's a really good country picker kind of guy. And so I said, hey, me and Brock think you would sound really good on this song. Would you like to do it? And he's like, yeah, but he was on tour and he was coming through town. So we had one night to do it. He'd never heard the song before. And I said, well, let's meet at Brock's house because he has a kind of a setup like I do. And he said, okay. So we went over there and played him the song a couple times. And he just literally just listened to it a few times and just kept playing until he got something he liked. And left. Never heard it till it came out. Like 9 months later, the album came out, and I sent it to him. Wow, that sounds great. He's like, oh man, it sounds so good. Matt Weiniger did do a lot of mixing on it to get it parts because we recorded 3 or 4 different guitar parts that he had to kind of piece together, which is pretty common on a lot of albums. People do that. Then they just learn to play it, later. And sometimes you just play it straight through. It just depends on the song. But he just didn't have time to perfect it, so we said, just play it 3-4 times, and we'll cherry pick it, make it. But some great riffs he did. And he's a phenomenal guitar player. He just was in town this week, and he just got back from Europe. He's touring over in Europe. He was doing a blues festival over there in France. So he's kind of coming up a bit, and a great guy, great player, and it was great to have him on it, And then my late bass player who passed away this year. He's playing the upright bass, the big stand-up bass on this one. So that kind of gives it that sound too, that really woody, nice sound,
His name?
Sparky Tuttle. Yeah.
Yeah, we miss him.
Yeah, we do. He was just a great all-around guy, great bass player, and a good friend. For 10 years he was in the band. So, not only did we do band things, but we did, fishing and camping and, concerts and all that fun stuff. We have some really funny stories about going to see Willie Nelson, but I can't go into that.
Did you smoke weed with Willie?
No, I would have if we'd have met him. And I don't smoke anymore, but I would if I was in Willie's house. You know what I mean? My bass player would have. He would have been like, oh, in fact, he did. Just because we were going. He's like, went in Willie's house. But so anyway, yeah. So, and the drums were Gordon Gardner, one of the current drummers in Ghostowne. And like I said, Sparky Tuttle on bass, and some, in the background vocals again. On that one, I believe, if I remember right, it was Neil Middleton from Royal Bliss again. So he did a great country harmony on that, even though he's a rock singer. He just nailed it. So that's one of the more popular songs off the record, off the latest record. That's off the A Long Way from Graceland album as well, and it's just got a really good feel to it. It's in 3/4. It's got that kind of country swing. It's real, just kind of flowing, everybody just kind of gravitates towards that one a lot on this album. So it's I'm really proud of that one. Turned out really well.
How's the crowd react when you play this one?
They love it. Yeah. They're just like I said. It's a favorite.
Is it a sing along? I think the Funny Money line has that.
Yeah. Can be. A lot of times you can't hear the crowd. Because we're up on stage and loud amps and guitars and so you're trying to get through the song and I guess if we were playing in an arena you'd probably hear them, but when you're playing like the last gig we did was a Snowbird, there's a few thousand people there, but they're kind of further off the stage. They're not right up on the stage, so you see people, but you always see people swaying and tapping and singing along. You can see them mouthing it, but you can't. But yeah, it's just a great song. I'm really one of my favorites to play off that one. It's just fun to play, and I think it's fun for people to listen to. It's really enjoyable.
I only smoke when I drink, and I only drink when I'm feeling blue. Yeah, I only smoke when I drink, and I only drink because of you. There's a thick, cloudy haze burning in my mind, and I'm running on empty, one vice at a time. Your promise is broke, and your life's never the same. And the more I think about it, the less I understand.
So I only smoke when I drink.
Yeah. So basically, I wrote this song in my car after a relationship breakup. And I was driving to an open mic. This was 15 years ago. Somebody had said something like we were out the weekend before and we were out at a bar. And it's like, oh, I didn't know you smoked. I only smoke when I drink. So it kind of stuck in my head. I'm like, a lot of people say that. I don't normally smoke. Oh, when I drink, I have a smoke. I'm like, oh. So I had it kind of floating around my brain anyway. But then I was on my way after this breakup to an open mic, and I wrote that out. I was like, oh, I only smoke when I drink. And then I only drink when I'm blue, and I only smoke when I drink, and I only drink because of you. So basically, you're smoking and drinking all the time. So, but it is by far our most popular Ghostowne song. Has been since I wrote it. I've had multiple people want to re-record that song. Nobody famous yet. But
if you could pick someone to record that song, any voice on the planet, who would you want to record that song?
Dwight Yoakam. He's my country idol. I love it. Of course, if anybody wants it, if I get a check with it, But to hear him sing it, he'd put his own take on that. Any of the new kind of guys that I'm listening to, any one of those could take it and just make it incredible. The Whitey Morgans or the Sturgill Simpsons and those kind of guys that are kind of up and coming, that are big. Sturgill would do it. Oh, he'd do a killer job of that. But like I said, anybody who'd want it, I'd be like, as long as it's not somebody really pop country, because I'm not a fan. I don't know. I'd have to really think about it. It'd probably depend on the money.
Shelton wanted it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Luke Bryant. No way. But yeah, if some of those guys that really have character coming up, really led the life, because I want somebody singing that's led it like I am, who's been down the road and.
So, do you remember the girl?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Tell me, but were you madly in love?
At the time, yeah.
How long are you going out with her?
Oh yeah. We went out for quite a while, and we were serious. I find on like the breakup songs, you don't only take from one breakup. Like I've been through multiple breakups. I've been married and divorced twice, and in between that, been in other relationships long term. 9 months, a year, 2 years, whatever. So you kind of pick and grab from each experience. So it's not always just about one particular experience. Like with that one, that was fresh in my brain, but you kind of steal from other relationships and what's gone wrong there. So, and I still write about those because that's what a songwriter does. I want a breakup song. I have plenty to go back on and plenty to fall back on and think, even if I stopped drinking today, I could probably still write drinking songs till the day I die, just because I have enough there in the catalog of my brain that I can go, oh, I remember how this was or how I could do that, and so it makes it good fun as a songwriter, even though it's dark and almost all my songs are dark. I don't write a lot of happy songs, and 8 albums later, there's maybe a handful of happy love songs. People ask me all the time, why is it? And I just think when I'm happy, I'm doing something else. I'm not with my guitar. I'm playing live. I'm happy, but when I'm writing, it's generally I'm alone and I'm writing and I'm thinking about what to write about and things, and I'm not going to write a song about going to the park and drinking beer and throwing a Frisbee, it'd just be silly. So I want songs that have meaning and depth, even, especially the breakup songs or the drinking songs. They all have reality. They're all reality based. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to it. So not so much in the last few years, I've toned it down, but in my early days, there was a lot of it.
Yeah, well, this song has some blame on this girl. You're blaming her. Right?
Yeah,
I drink because of you.
And I only smoke because of you, so it's definitely...
There's a little bit of denial.
Right? Oh, yeah, totally. And it's
like an excuse.
And there's some bitterness there, and so it's all those emotions you go through when it's a fresh breakup. You're bitter, you're jaded, you're angry, you're sad. So I tried to throw that all into this song, and just kind of portray all those feelings into one. And that's why you're drinking and smoking all the time, is because you just can't get her off your mind, and nothing is good about it. Like I said, you're angry, you're sad, you're bitter, you're just you're angry at yourself, you're angry at her. It's all those emotions welling up, and I think that's why that song's so popular, is because everybody's been down that road. And when I first wrote it and I played it, and instantly everybody was like, whoa, that's a great song. And to this day, almost 15 years later, we still play it at every show. It's usually near the end of the set, if not the very last song we do, because it kicks into that double time at the end. So it's a ballad, but then it kicks into the double time at the end and gets everybody. And when it goes into that double time thing, that's more anger coming out. Is kind of how I portrayed it. I only smoke, like you're yelling at her. I only drink because of you, all because of you. So it kind of amplifies it, and and everybody's going crazy on the instruments, and it just in this chaotic mess, and so it kind of crescendos into that. So great song, great. Everybody loves it. Like I said, probably the most popular song to date.
Tell me about the production.
This was on the Dry County album, which I believe was 2006. Mike Bayless was the lead guitar in the original recording. Now we have 3 recordings of this. The one that you have is from the Rehab album. We went in and re-recorded a bunch of the old first 3 records. We went in and kind of cherry-picked some of the best songs and re-recorded them with the current band. So that was Joey Maggard playing on that. But the original Dry County album was Mike Bayless. Stephen Allen on bass on the original recording. On this one, it was Sparky Tuttle. And then I have an acoustic version you can find on our website, which is ghostowne.com. Spelled a little weird. 1 T in the middle, E at the end. It's an all acoustic version I did. Live in the studio. Put a mic in front of me and I just sang and played it. And then I had Matt Weiniger, the producer, played acoustic slide guitar through the whole thing. And so it's really country and it's really stripped down. You can also find that version on the Rehab album as a bonus track. So I had this acoustic album done that I never released. And so when we redid the Rehab album, I'm like, we did that version. And I'm like, I want something cool on there that nobody's heard. I'm like, oh, this acoustic album I did, it was about 10 songs, and I haven't used any of them because I just thought, it's more like a solo project, So I just didn't feel good about. But I thought this is the perfect opportunity to throw a couple of those songs on the end of this album because they're all re-recorded versions alternate versions from the original ones. And so there's 2 versions of that on the Rehab album. The one you just heard, and then the acoustic one that you can find, which gets great reviews too. But it completely different feeling on either one. You know, one's just kind of lonely and sad because it's just me with a slide guitar. And then there's the full band one, which is more powerful. So you get 2 takes on it. So, but a great song nonetheless. And like I said, our most popular to date.
Keep on pouring till I say when. 'Cause sometimes you know you just can't win. God's too busy to care if I sin. So keep on pouring till I say when. Straight up, it's time to kick a few back. Cool down with something in a tall glass. Fell off the wagon, landed under the wheels. Now I can't breathe, the chest is getting tighter. Smoldering halos rise up from the fire. Slow dance into a lonely pedal steel. So keep on pouring till I say when. Sometimes you know you just can't win. God's too busy to care if I sin.
So, Stephen, the next song we're going to talk about is Keep On Pouring Till I Say When.
Yes.
This is part of your pantheon of drinking songs.
Yeah, and we do have a lot of drinking songs. They're fun to write, fun to play, and a lot of people relate to them. Probably our most popular songs are our drinking songs for the most part. Hence the new album coming up next year is all drinking songs, kind of a concept record. But this one's off the American Twang album. One of our more popular, if not our most popular song. There's one other drinking song that's it's been around longer. But this one in particular was instantly a fan favorite as soon as we released it. And it's fun to play. Everybody, I think people can relate to it. You know, it's just about having a bad day. And, you walk up to the bartender and say, keep them coming, basically. Keep on pouring till I say, well, I've had enough, And so, nothing too tricky about it. It's just a fun drinking song about having a bad day and just got to release some stress, can go have some drinks, hang at the bar, and just keep them coming till I say when.
You talk about hellhounds.
Yes.
Where does that come from?
Well, in the line, hellhounds are barking outside the door. So it basically just means you're just having a bad day, And then the next line is a face down. I feel like I need one more. So even though you're, the hellhounds are outside the door and you're face down in the gutter, you're like, I think I'm going to have one more. So keep on pouring, So it's just kind of as bad as it can get. You're like, I know it'll get better if I can just keep drinking it away. So it's a good concept with some great lyric in it. One of my favorite lyrics I've written. And just a great song. And like I said, a fan favorite. So.
Do you play this around closing time?
No, we tend to play it all over through the sets. We've actually opened, with this before. It's a good opening song because it's all a cappella at the beginning. And people don't expect that when you walk out on stage. I think we opened for Shooter Jennings once. And we came out and we started with that. And people don't expect it. You just walk up and they expect you to, everybody kick in and we were right into the vocal. Everybody's like, whoa, that's pretty cool. So, and sometimes we'll do it in the middle of the set. Sometimes we'll do it at the end. So it's just, it all depends on the songs around it, because we like a good flow live. So we tend to place it everywhere. But it is usually in the last set because it is a drinking song. And a lot of those are put near the end of the set, especially when we're playing a bar gig. Put a lot of the drinking songs in the last set because everybody's on the same level as us at that point.
The bartenders have to get tipped.
Yeah. Tip your bartenders, and here's another drinking song. So yeah, it's a fun lyric. There's some great lines in there. The line straight up, I need to kick a few back, cool off with something in a tall glass. Pretty, it just tells you the beginning of the story. But there's a line in there about falling off the wagon. Everybody, the term, I'm on the wagon, I'm not drinking. It says, I fell off the wagon, landed under the wheels. So, basically, you fell off the wagon, it ran you over. So, just some fun lyric. Just kind of everything's based off of drinking in this song. Every line has a little tie in there. Life is a long walk on a short pier. A friend of mine told me that once, and it stuck in my head. I thought, wow, that's a great line, and I held on to it for years. And I'm like, oh, it'll fit in here, it's because he said, because it makes sense. Life's a long walk on a short pier. You think it's long when you're in it, but in all reality, if you look back, it's really short. So it kind of has a great kind of double meaning. And I really love that line, and I held on to it for years. And it just fit this song so well. I put it in, and he's passed as well a few years ago. So it's good to have a line that he gave me on it, just as a remembrance. When I sing it, I'm like, oh, I remember Kevin. So, yeah.
And so tell me about the production and who's in the melody and who's on it. The guitar lines.
This
are
one,
beautiful.
On this album, it was Sparky Tuttle, who's, been with us for 10 years. The bass player we discussed the past recently. Joey Maggard was the guitar player on this record. He was with us for about 8 or 9 years in the band. He left after the Rehab album. He left, and then Brock Peterson joined. But Joey's playing lead on this, and he's the backing vocal as well. We all went in live and just busted it out till we got it right. It was just one of those songs, just went in, said, here, of course we rehearsed it and got it down. Then we went in and here we go. And we, ran through it till we got it right. So it turned out really well. It was probably the most popular song off that record. That and the American Twang, the song itself called American Twang was very popular. And then Sparky Tuttle had a song that he wrote and sang. There's only 2 songs that I haven't sang in the history of Ghostowne, and they were both on that record. The guitar player had one that he sang, and then the bass player had one that he sang. So it was a different record for us because we had different voices on there singing lead, which has never happened before. So, but yeah, it's a great song. The American Twang album is a great album. Proud of all of them, but I think as the albums have gone along, they've gotten better. I think my songwriting has gotten better. My lyricism has gotten better. My arranging has gotten better, and I'm always striving to do something a little different. What haven't I done yet? I did that a lot on the Long Way from Graceland album, where I said, oh, I haven't written a song about this yet, or I've never done an arrangement like this. And so I would really push myself to do that. I'd hear a song on the radio. Wow, that's a really cool arrangement. I've never done anything. I'm going to try to write something with a similar arrangement to that. And the breakdown on this was really cool. That something a little different, the muted part. And it's kind of a cappella-ish, like the beginning, but it's more driving with the guitar, and it kind of gives it a breakdown and lets it breathe a little bit, and then builds up into the big ending. So really great song. I'm really proud of that one.
A bitch, man, but she don't care. She's up and gone with the flick of her hair. Let her roll, let her roll, let her ride. Boss man says you're not working enough, riding your ass from dawn to dusk. Let her roll, let her roll, let her ride. Let it ride. Short to be so damn uptight. Let it ride, let it ride.
Okay, Steve, we're going to talk about Let It Ride.
Yes. Another ballad, just a song about having a shitty day once again, but, basically don't sweat the small shit. It's the whole, in an umbrella, that's what the song is about. Life's a bitch, man. She don't care. She's up and gone in the flick of her hair. So life's too short. So don't sweat the small stuff. Great song, great lyric. Very popular song off the new album. Everybody seems to relate to it. Everybody listens to it. Oh, that really is a great song. It really says a lot. It's a simple song, but it says a lot. The melody is nice. The lyrics are pretty simple. But it just portrays a great message, Hey, just don't sweat the small stuff, You truck's running out of gas. You're down to your last cigarette. Your dog chewed up your favorite pair of boots. Those are things that you can fix. So don't sweat the little things because it's just not worth it in the long run.
Did any of these things happen to you?
Oh, I've been down it, yeah.
Or all of them.
All of them, basically, yeah. And I think at one point or another in everybody's lives, they've had a part of their life where they're, I'm running out of gas, payday's a day away. I think at some point, almost everybody's been in a position like that, where they're just not feeling great about things, and it tends to build, but it's always small things, and I've found over time, if you don't let the little things get to you, life is a lot more enjoyable, so let it roll, let it ride, because life's too short to be so damn uptight, just like it says. So because I have friends that are really hung up on that, and it just destroys their day. It's like, why let it control you like that? So I wrote a song about it. I'm just like, don't sweat the small shit. Just just move on. Nothing you can do about it. Just make your life better and do what you can do. Great song. Musicianship on it was great. Bunch of guest stars on this one.
Tell me who.
Eric Fields, the current Ghostowne drummer, is the drummer on it. Johnny Lightfoot is the bassist from Air Supply and multiple bands. He's a big name. A lot of people know his name. On the lead guitar is Taylor Richards from Royal Bliss. 12-string guitar is Memphis Hennessy from Royal Bliss. He was also in Candlebox for a while. The backing vocal was by Walter James, again, another good friend of mine. He was on Long Way from Graceland, the song as well. He does that great counter melody in the back that's just really beautiful. So that's just great musicianship all the way around. Piano was Rich Wyman. I don't know, he's very popular. He lives in Park City, tours the world. Most people know who he is locally. Another really good friend of mine that came in and played on 4 or 5 songs on this album. Just came in, never heard a song, just popped in suit, put the headphones on, play me some songs. And he really, and a lot of times I like the artist, if they're guesting, to pick the song, because I want them to feel something in the song. I don't, here's the song I picked for you. So I usually play them multiple songs and say, let me know when one stands out. And every single one of these guys, when this song came up, they said that one. So, it makes you feel good as a songwriter. These great musicians come in and say, that's a great song. I want to play on that one. So, it just kind of, it came together, and sent it off to Matt Weiniger to mix. And he even said, wow, this is a great song. So, and a lot of people, like I said, really react to it and really they get the message, hey, it's a good reminder, don't sweat the little things. So pretty simple song.
Got it.
Simple thing, but a great song and one of my favorites.